Just 2 days after releasing concept art for the Crotus Pren Asylum and the game map Reworks, Behavior have blessed us with the January developer update, featuring a lot of incredibly juicy news. I'd love it when the update I was waiting for releases the same day I make a different video. For the first time ever, the team have also created the Dead by Daylight dev tapes, where they discuss the upcoming changes. As there are some pretty huge game-altering alterations in this update, it makes sense to justify it and showcase, and I hope that they'll continue to do this every single quarter. It also gives me a lot of good B-roll for this video. So let's take a look at everything that's changing in Dead by Daylight's new mid-chapter update. The heads-up display in-game has been completely redone. You can now see the survivor that each person is playing at the left with their name and their hook number just above. The generator's remaining indicator is now in the top, and the item you're carrying is still in the bottom left. This redesign was done as the team felt they couldn't add the features they wanted within the limitations of the existing design.
We had reached a point with the UI where our current live UI was no longer able to support all of the features that we wanted to add from the game design team.
As mentioned already, this new HUD comes with the ability to see what hook number a survivor on your team is on, and for killers, shows the total number of hooks they've had so far this game. Both of these give you one less thing to track while playing, and will allow both roles to better strategize with no guesswork required. There's also now a UI scale There's also now a UI scale menu, which has been a long requested feature. The response to this change has so far been fairly negative, but I'm of the opinion that over time we'll come to really appreciate the new features and the positive contributions to gameplay that it creates. As with everything else in the game, work is being done to keep things moving and looking good on the new generation of consoles, and in my mind, this is another one of those important steps. Now then, matchmaking. I mentioned in my DBD in 2021 video that as we hadn't heard the matchmaking system mentioned recently, that this idea might have been scrapped. Ah, you fool! MMR is returning, and ranks are being changed. Rather than being matched with similar ranks, you're now matched via an invisible matchmaking rating, which goes up and down based on your performance in a match. The emblem system that we know today is going to be changed to offer monthly blood point rewards, and as a visual indicator for, I don't know, street cred or something, I guess. Everyone will now be reset to rank 20 at the end of the month too. But remember, you're not going to be matched with people based on your rank. It's going to be based on this invisible MMR. Survivors have one rating, and each killer has its own unique rating, so if you're real good at, say, Spirit and want to try out nerfs but suck, you'll be matched with others who suck rather than players who are great. By the way, when I wrote that in the script, it was before I watched that section of the Death Diary video. They immediately say, oh, if you're good at Billy but suck at nerfs. It's like they know that the majority of people suck at nerfs.
So if you're like an absolutely amazing hillbilly player, and then you say, I want to learn how to play nerfs, and you're terrible with her, you're not going to be playing against rank 1 survivors while you're trying to figure out how to play the nerfs. Just to be clear, rank is not going to determine your matchmaking. So when we reset you to 20, it's only for the rewards.
Some perks are changing. Pebble now has a reduced charge time. The walking movement speed boost of Fixated now continues to work when injured, and Undying is different. Now, when a Hex totem is cleansed, it will replace the Hex Undying totem rather than a random Dull totem. A nerf, but unlike before, tokens are now transferred between the totems. Now, onto the killer reworks. When stepping in a trap, the mechanic for escaping has changed. Previously, it was a 25% chance to escape each time, whereas now it's a flat distribution of 1 to 6 attempts. That means that after 6 attempts, you're guaranteed to escape. But for your first to third attempts, the chance is lowered. Add-ons which reduce the chance to escape will now just increase the number of attempts required. Personally, I think this is really neat. It makes it harder to get out of the trap on your first 2 attempts, and adds a sense of urgency to getting off and a predictability to when it might be successful. This is another step to making a previously RNG mechanic more competitive without giving the killer a real nerf or buff. The Wraith now has true invisibility at distances greater than 24 meters, is less visible than before between 24 and 16 meters, and at less than 60 meters is unchanged. This is a much needed alteration really, as any player at rank 10 or higher can easily look out for and spot the Wraith, making his invisibility ability more or less redundant other than giving a movement speed boost. Now this one is technically a change for any killer whose power uses the Deep Wound mechanic. That's Legion and Deathslinger, but most killers have some way of applying this effect through add-ons and perks. The timer is now 20 seconds, down from 30 seconds. No one ever dies from Deep Wound, so this is fine, and a good buff. And hopefully it will teach people at lower ranks what Deep Wound is. You don't make that mistake twice. And now we come to the Clown. The Clown has a different bottle type called the Afterpiece Antidote. It releases a delayed yellow gas, and when within the radius of this gas, your movement speed is increased by 10%. So is the speed of other survivors. The Afterpiece Antidote also undoes the effects of the existing pink bottle. This is a cool way of increasing the skill ceiling without just altering a singular value. It adds new strategies to the Clown, as can be seen in the Dev Diary video. The reload timer is also now 3 seconds, down from 5 seconds. Time will tell what effect this has on the meta and whether or not we start seeing more Clowns at higher ranks, but overall this is a much needed change to a massively underutilized killer. Finally, there are some wonderful new survivor animations. Teabagging and moonwalking still work as before, by the way, don't panic. And the game and Crotus Pren map reworks, which I did a video on yesterday. The PTB is releasing on Tuesday. Why do they say the PTB is releasing on Tuesday? Why do I think the PTB is releasing on Tuesday? I read that somewhere, but it's not on this listing and it wasn't in the video. I don't know. I guess the PTB is releasing on Tuesday because I read that somewhere, but I don't know if that was like a dev on Twitter or a lie or like a Leaks by Daylight thing. Maybe it's releasing on Tuesday. Maybe it's not releasing on Tuesday. Let's wait until Tuesday and find out.